I got news flash for you people. What you do with your body does matter to God, and it will have eternal consequences. Well, guess what? The Lord said, the parable of the talent, to whom much is given, much more will be required. Whatever you do with it little will determine whether you are made ruler over much. Well, don't you know that your body is the temple of the Lord? What greater possession have you been given than your earthly fleshy body? That is the greatest physical responsibility that you have. What did you do with the body I have given you? Oh, well, it doesn't really matter because, we're going to heaven. So I ate junk food and I tattooed myself and I didn't really care for my health much. I didn't stretch my legs every day and I allowed myself to be numb and stiff and, all kind of diseases. And, I took some drugs and I ruined my liver and I destroyed my brain and I snorted some glue when I was in high school and, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because, we're getting a new body. Well, good news, bad news. Yes, you are getting a new body. That's the good news. The bad news is the new body you're getting is determined on what did you do with the old body. For as the Lord said, why would I trust you with true riches when you've proven to be so unfaithful with the little riches you've been given here on earth? You can't even take care of your own small flesh, but you think God is going to trust you with the real flesh? The eternal one? Where do you get that? It's so inconsistent with who God is and what God said. Everything God does is about righteousness, justice, and, listen to this, accountability. Everything matters. See, all of these health crazy people, they get this part of it because your health does matter. The things you eat. But Jesus said, it's not about what enters the body because it goes out of the body. It's about what comes out of the mouth because that's out of the heart. Well, do you know what he was talking about? I bet you have no idea and you cannot tell me the context behind this. This was in direct relation to ritual purity when the Pharisees rebuked Yeshua because his disciples were not washing their hands before they were eating bread, which was a man-made tradition of the elders. It's not a commandment of God. And Yeshua, who came to abolish the doctrines of men and return the people back to the pure Torah of God, rebuked them and said, why are you talking to me about washing hands? Don't you know that it is not what goes into the body that defiles a man, that you need to wash your hands before you eat? But what comes out of a man, thoughts of idolatry, murder, etc. That's the context. He never said you could eat anything you want, and he definitely did not abolish the laws of purity and what is considered clean, mentioned in Leviticus 11, which includes pig and etc. that are unclean, that all of you Christians eat. You can't even take care of your little fleshly temple. You think the Lord is going to put you in charge of his real temple? Where do you get this? I know you're going to lose your mind now. Well, so what does that mean? Do we need to eat organic and non-GMO and gluten-free? No? Slow down. Why don't you start with the little things? Why don't you cut down some sugar in your diet? Why don't you cut down some processed foods and some deep-fried nonsense and start with the little things. Limit your sun exposure and don't lie there baking in the sun for 17 hours a day, giving yourself skin cancer. Drop down those cigarettes, giving yourself lung cancer. Stop intoxicating yourself, giving yourself liver cancer. Stop watching the thing on the internet that are dumbing your brain, that are giving you brain cancer. Why don't you start with the little things? Go from there. Before you start analyzing, well, what is the healthiest diet? because you're never gonna get there. Well, there's too many options, right? I mean, GMO, gluten-free, keto diet. Don't worry about these things. Because you're not gonna be perfect. We don't even know what the perfect diet is, but the goal is to be self-aware. You have to know yourself. And when something is bad, don't do it. Minimize your sweet intake. Even when you do have sweet, do you really need all that sugar? Is it not enough to be a little sweet? You know, people in the ancient world did not have white granulated sugar. To them, sweet was fruits and a little bit of organic honey from the rock. And they loved their honey, but they were not indulging in it. Even Solomon said, a little honey is good, but don't have too much of it. And take care of your body. Go out, walk your 10,000 steps or whatever it is that you need to do. Do your stretches. If you're a little weak, do some exercises. You don't need to go to a gym to bend down and do a little squat here and there and, you know, some stretches for your hands and your knees and your whatever. Take care of yourself. You don't have to have all of these physical conditions that are unnecessary. Moshe, it is said he was vigor and full of strength when he was 120 years old. He could have gone on living. He was in great shape. But it was just his time to go. Not because he was diseased or sick, it was just his physical clock, like time's out. You don't have to suffer and be sickly in your old age and die off from some disease. You could just expire and finish your mission. And you will be judged accordingly. So take it into your consideration. What you do with your body matters. Even Paul said it in regards to sleeping with a prostitute. Your body is the temple of the Lord. Should we that are united with the Lord unite ourselves with a prostitute? Heaven forbid. And you get that, but you don't get that you are uniting yourself with pigs, with shrimp, with all of these other abominable things that the Lord detests and despises. That was the very thing that caused the sacrifices at the temple to stop. In the Second Temple days, Antioch IV, he sacrificed a pig on the altar, and that defiled the temple, as prophesied in the book of Daniel. He put an end to sacrifices and offering. How? By sacrificing a pig on the altar. But you eat pigs daily. Take care of yourself. This is the temple of the Lord, and this is what you're doing with it. All of you people with tattoos. Oh, I had a tattoo on my hand as a gesture to the Lord. I heard some Messianic Jew tell me that. I got infuriated with him. And then he started making excuses and justifying it. How evil. The Lord said you shall not tattoo yourself. Do not defile the body that the Lord has given you. That is His temple. You are a steward of your flesh. It is not yours. You better take care of it. Eat healthy, exercise, walk, stretch, get up in the morning and praise God that He has given you a body so that you could have your physical being and move in a physical world that He has created. The flesh is not a curse. It is a blessing. The physical is not some sort of an evil world. This is our world, forever. New heaven and new earth, and we will dwell on the new earth. Always. We're not going up to God's realm. It is God who's coming down to ours. So everything we do matters, and I do mean everything. So start fixing yourself and being well aware and minded. And yes, that too includes the environment. That's another news flash for you, all you who hate all these Greenpeace people. Why? Because they care for the planet and the oceans? You devils. They're doing the thing that you should be doing. Why don't you care for the environment? In Israel, all of these crazy religious people with their plastic plates and utensils spoiling our planet because of their stupid man-made kosher laws. Well, you know, meat and dairy, we have to use disposable. And they're always defiling everywhere they go with tons of plastic. And you're the ones who believe in God? Don't you know this is our Father's world? And we are going to give an account on what we did with it. So yes, everything matters. You better take care of the environment. You better take care of your body. You better take care of everything. And you will be judged accordingly. Now, surely, the main thing is your spirit, your soul, your mind, because after all, that is the main component of who we are, the spiritual purity. But after that comes everything else, and everything will be included in the judgment. So take it to heart. Do not neglect anything, or you will be judged accordingly, and it will have eternal ramifications and consequences.
The problem with the news flash about the body is that it gives people too much to do. And remember, we don't need to do anything anymore except work out really hard, go to baseball, football, soccer games, and golf courses, swim and go to spa and yoga and the gym. You guys are more legalistic and law-abiding to the law of exercise than you are to God's Torah law, which you have been, of course, exhumed from, excused from, extricated from Old Testament. You hypocrites. So, newsflash about the body? No, they have no intentions of actually doing anything because Jesus died, so y'all don't have to do anything. You see, you modern Christians believe in government welfare on this heavenly level. You think God belongs to the Democratic Progressive Party. You got spiritual EBT cards. Yeah, somebody else is paying for it. Oh, yeah, somebody else is paying for it. The taxpayers are paying for it. Our tax dollars are giving them free cigarettes, free vapes, free sex, free condoms, free drugs, free housing. You think it's free? Our tax dollars are paying for it, you hypocrites. You don't care about your tax dollars paying for it when you smack God into his face for the blood that paid for your sin. But it didn't just pay for your sin. It paid for your mitzvahs. Let me repeat that. The salvation was not just the ability to pay for your sin of what you didn't do, what you should have done, but to give you the power to do what now was called all things are possible. I can now do these things that I couldn't do before. You know, that's in the scripture. Before the New Testament, by the way. By God, he gave me the power to do it. But it was done on case-by-case basis then. Remember, in the last days, I'm going to pour it upon all flesh. I mean, all of you are going to be able to do what David did. Leap through a troop, jump over a wall. Zerubbabel, move a headstone, not by might, but by power. You are able going to do great things that you see them doing with the grace of God in the Old Testament, which everyone now has access to in the New Testament. Physical things, material things, real things. Laying down your life, much less laying down your son's life. Abraham's faith was counted to him for righteousness. How many of you have a son, your only begotten son? Would you give up that son? I already know the answer to that. You're not even where Abraham was, much less talking about where Jesus is. You hypocrites. And I have grown tired of you because I just met you in the last few years, the last few decades. But the Lord has known you for eons, since the beginning of time. I can imagine what Father feels. Except all of the moments that he wanted to devastate and destroy everybody, even after the flood. But how can you help but not? When after you save them, give them grace, give them your word, give them messengers, give them prophets, give them teachers, they still thumb up their nose, mock you, hate you, interrogate you, act as if they're doing you a favor. They do not value God. They don't value God's messengers. They don't value the blood of Yeshua on the cross. And grace, they would know what it meant if it stared at them 1 millimeter from their face. For them, it's simply an opportunity to have what you want and do as you wish and be excused for everything that you don't do. It is to demand nothing more of you and accept everything that's less than minimal. It's your pride. Newsflash, the body. You'll submit your body when you submit your spirit. The body will go where the spirit goes. As a man thinketh, so is he. But we know by looking at your life, I know what you're thinking. By looking at your time, I know what you're thinking and how you spend it. I know. Father will have a remnant. He always has. You just may not be one of them.